Hello, and welcome back to quantitative reasoning online. You should have looked at 13C, lesson 13C, lesson worth waiting for, and hopefully you went and looked up what stratified sampling is, what simple random sample is, and got those written in your notebooks because they may be coming up again. So let's do a question. Question 1. Let's figure this guy out. Okay. Suppose you want to research the hobbies of a student on your campus by doing an in-depth personal interview with 10 randomly selected students. Assume your campus has approximately equal numbers of males and females students. Here's our about half and half. Is it possible that you randomly select groups of 10 students which have 9 males and 1 females? And like I said previously, yes, it is possible. Probability is low. Not likely, but it's possible. And that's what statistic is. Not necessarily find whether it's what it is find how likely something can happen. And if it is likely, even though small, then it is possible. It's possible that man pick just 10 men or 10 women. Suppose you want to know about student satisfaction at community colleges in your state. So you have more than one community college. Which of these methods will result in the most representative sample? Ask every student at every community college in your state how they feel. Okay, definitely get best answer, but costly, time consuming. Go to every community college in your state and ask 20 randomly selected students on each campus how they feel. So basically a simple random sample. Go to a community college in your state and ask 100 students how they feel. Okay, this will tell you how that college feels. And you take a risk of using that to infer how the other college would feel. Subset cannot be representative of all college students in your state. That's never right. So it must be this guy. It has to be B. Where I'll go to every school, and every school I'll take 20 randomly selected students on each campus how they feel. Now, I would probably modify that a little bit and look at the schools, and if one school, if the school sizes, and this one's twice as big, I would probably want to go for 20, 20, 40. Again, to keep a representative sample, which also means the proportion from each school is the same. So you're taking a 1% sample, say. That'd be what, out of 2,000, out of 4,000. So you're going to take a sample, 1% of each school. And of course, one school is much bigger, you got to have a bigger sample size. So don't lock yourself into always having to think that it's equal. You got to always have the same number. But it's B, by the way. Next question. Suppose 75% of a representative sample. So we have representative sample of n equals 1,400 from all community colleges in Texas, and 75% of those say they're satisfied with their college. Now, can we infer this to be true for the whole population of all community colleges and students in Texas? again, we took a representative sample, and no, there's no way. No. Yes, if the sample representative, then we can infer that around 75% about of colleges are satisfied. If sample representative, then we should infer that 75% of community colleges are satisfied, students are satisfied. No, even if it's representative, we cannot infer that around 75. Well, again, the whole idea of doing sampling is so that we can infer. Now, choice here is, then we should infer that 75%. Okay, that means an exact number versus can about. Okay, so we can infer that around 75% are happy, because you have a couple colleges. Now, overall with 75%, this school might have been 80%. This one may be 70%. This was 75%. 77%. 72%. All right, of their 20. Let's say there's 14 of their 100 of the 100. 14 times. All right. So the inference is, as a whole, at 75%, each college can be inferred to be about 75%. And you may have one. No, that was really dissatisfied, but it gets mixed in with the group. This is what we call an outlier. All right. Oops, but the answer is B. Suppose you survey 5 classmates. There you go. Just put the hourly wage. What is the mean of the hourly wage? So let's add up all these numbers. So 850, 925, 875, 850, and 1285 for $47.85 divided by 5, and we get 957. And that is correct. Like I say, make a similar question. Next. Suppose that you survey the same thing. Is your sample representative of the population of students at your community college? So again, you surveyed 5 classmates that are just sitting around you in your classroom, study pod, lunch table. Okay. So basically, here's you, and here's the 5 people you asked, and here's all the other school with everyone else scattered about. All right. Is this sample representative of the population of students in your community college? And because of like I said, I'm going to call this a convenience sample. No. No. It may be. No. You do a real sampling of actual sampling. You may be darn near close, but you don't know that because you didn't do the proper sampling technique. You don't have confidence in it. Final check. And last question. Find the similarities and differences between simple random sample and stratified sampling. Choose the correct answer. Okay, random sampling involves surveying a select few from a population to provide representative sample. Stratified sampling involves dividing a population into logical groups and then random sampling members of each group to ensure representation. Okay, that's possibilities. Possible. Random samples involve selecting population members without preference to provide a representative sample. Okay. Stratified sampling involves surveying 5 to 10 people from population to find a good representation. Definitely not. Random sampling involves surveying an entire population. Random sampling surveying an entire population. Sampling an entire, definitely not. Random sampling involves selecting population members without preference to provide a representative sample. Okay. Stratified sampling involves dividing a population into logical groups and then randomly sampling members of each group to ensure representation. Okay, so the definite chance is between A and D, excuse me. So let's see, what's a simple random sample? Well, you have a population, and every member in it has an equal probability of being picked. Equal probability of being selected. To get your sample. So random sampling involves surveying surveying, selecting. Okay, that's a big difference. Population member without preference means equal probability to provide a representative sample. Okay. So this makes me lean more towards D here. Now stratified sampling is it's a quick example. Here's your population, and you're going to divide them up into groups. Maybe by age. 15 to 25, 26 to 35, 36 to 45. For some reason you want to differentiate them. And then from each of these guys, a simple random sample to get your sample for whatever study you want to do. And you want to study the effect of sleep by age group. Study the effect of a drug or a disease. It could be observational study. So stratified sampling involves dividing a population into logical groups: age, sex, weight, lifestyles, and then random selecting members of each group. So it's got to be D. It's got to be D. That's the same. So basically here is selecting versus surveying. So, the question is how, so you're involving surveying a select view. Surveying implies observational. It could be experimental. Gotta be D. Hazard. Should be the answer. So we got simple random sample, stratified sample. Stratified just means I'm going to take the population, break it up to some logical grouping. Again, it could be age, it could be sex, lifestyle, smoker, non-smoker, cigarette smoker, cigar smoker, vapor. Okay, understand? And from those populations, then pick from them a standard random sample to get your sample. Alrighty. I like that one. And I believe that was it. So we are now done with lesson 13C, basically sampling methods. Now go back on your own and do these questions 1 through 6. You may have the same question, you may have slightly different questions. And I'll see you later. Oops. And then after that, that should prepare you for Stephanie's lesson on the workbook 13C. And it looks like we're doing some random numbers here. Complete the workbook, upload it, PDF, JPEG, and then do practice assignment 13C. And I then see you shortly, maybe not, shortly that is, in 13D. Good luck.